Hey everyone, Sarah here. Today we're going to be going into the topic of our abilities. We've got many abilities and we lack many abilities because of the internal structure of our belief systems. And today we're going to go into the importance of the ability to hold space because that may not feel like something that feels safe. It may not feel safe to hold space anymore, especially when your background, your experiences of life up until this point in this moment in life have been ones of lack, ones of fear, ones of doubt, ones of pain, ones of shame, ones of guilt, ones of resentment, ones of not good enoughness, ones of failure, and everything else that goes along with that. And with that, the ability to hold space is very restricted, very minimal, very scary, and very unknown. But it's in that ability to hold space where we find the things that we deserve, where we find the things that we desire, where we find the things that we long for. And those who've gone through emotionally abusive, traumatic, and neglectful past, you just long for peace. You long for inner peace. You long for joy. You long for happiness. You long for pleasure. And you long to experience those things without feeling like there's a number against you. I gave you this, now you owe me that, and feeling like this kind of tit for tat, like you're keeping score. You just want to feel it without any strings attached. You want to have the ability to experience those things, to feel those things, to embody, to embrace all of those emotions and the goodness that life has to offer. But it's almost as if we go on this quest and search for it. Okay, it's not in here. It must be out there somewhere. And it's in the out there-ness that we're looking for it. And we find we get distracted. We find that we get off course. And we find what we don't want. And then we beat ourselves up. Why did I do this again? What's wrong with me? We begin to hear that inner dialogue and that inner voice so loudly, like screaming at us, telling us all of the things that we were on this journey to try and avoid hearing in the first place. The things that we don't want to believe. We don't want to believe that there's something wrong with me. And then that inner voice starts to show you evidence of the reasons why there is, and that there must be, and that there always will be. And the ability to hold the space between the thoughts, hold the space between the desires, and not hold on in a constricting motion. And I'm holding on to this because it's all I've got. And that's the reason why so many of us stay stuck, stay so negative, stay so limiting, stay so small. We're holding on to this because it's all we've got. And if we let go in the space of holding on to or reaching for something else, something that we truly want and desire, what if I miss the mark? What if I miss the bar? What if I fall short? And then those questions of what if come in, and they're very negative. And they get mixed up with the beliefs that you will fail. You are a failure. You don't deserve it. You won't make it. Look at all the times you tried that in the past. And now we feel like energetically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, we're clutching on to the stuff that we don't want. We're clutching on to pain. We're clutching on to shame. We're clutching on to guilt. We're clutching on to anger, the rage. It's like our hands are full. And oftentimes we physically feel the presence of that in our bodies. So many people that I work with, they say that, I try and fill myself so that I don't have to feel the emotions because I lack the ability to hold that space. It's like it must happen now. It must happen now, because if it doesn't happen now, then I know I'm not worthy of it happening. Then it will never happen. It will never come. And there's ability to hold space in between the things that you let go of that you don't want and the things that you're moving towards, which you do, where the magic happens, where the energy has the ability to move and to feel free and to flow and to truly go where you want it to. But there's so much deep subconscious and inner programming of this need to control when you've experienced an emotionally neglectful, abusive past, whether it's from parents, whether it's from partners, and this feeling of lack of control and lack of power. And so in an effort to maintain that now, to maintain some level of certainty or level of sanity, I don't allow myself to feel this. I go from one thing to the next. Everything is rigid. Everything is structured. Everything is scheduled. Everything is back to back, 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 back. Everything is planned. And I'm so hyper vigilant and hyper aware of these plans. And if one thing goes wrong and one thing goes off course and one thing gets skewed, you lose it. You explode like a volcano. And your family, your friends, colleagues, your partners, whoever is around you, it's like they get burned by the lava that comes out of you. And these are metaphors and these are analogies that people that I've worked with in the past have come up with, that that's been their experience and their inability to hold the space in between. This is where I am. I hate that I'm here. It's always going to be this way. And there's a beautiful evolution of breaking free from all of that, from within, from deep within, from the subconscious roots and hold that it has on you, to find yourself able to be in that space of not having what you want yet, but the journey to getting there. But we live in this microwave instant culture of, I'm in a narcissistic relationship. I want to be in a loving, healthy relationship. Right. And there's things that are in between those two places that need to take place in order to go from this to that, in order for you to truly get from here to there, to be free from that. Otherwise, you take those same patterns, those same behaviors, those same thoughts from this to here. And then you wondered, why does this always happen? Why does this always happen? And then you just continue to feel those feelings, those emotions. You continue to prolong the pain. You continue to extend it, to stretch it out. And then, of course, naturally you develop beliefs like it takes forever to heal from this kind of stuff. Look, here's the timeline of my life. This is what it's been. Tell me that it's not. Tell me that that's just not true. Because look, here's evidence that it is. And my mind is connected and held on to evidence that it is, so it must be. It must be what it is. It is what it is, right? And the feeling that you're going to be stuck in that place forever, the feeling that it doesn't ever get better, and the anger and the rage and the hatred that you feel inside when you try and read things that are supposed to motivate you and encourage you and have you believe in positivity, like the best is yet to come. Really, what best? Is that person going to stop doing that? What about this? What about that? And this attitude of this chip on the shoulder towards anything that really could truly be a part of the breakthrough. No, I've tried this, it didn't work. I did that. Nope. Well, I'm glad it worked for them. But they're not me and they don't know my story and they don't know what I've been through. If I could just tell you that, well, don't do that, because you're just strengthening the story and the bond and the chains and the hold that it has on you every time you tell it. You're giving it more attention, more time, more power, more of you. More of your life, more of your thoughts, more of your energy. And then it will make you believe you're not going anywhere. And then you'll feel like you're not. The ability to hold the space in between, like that free falling. But most people feel the fear as if you would when you're free falling. Jumping off something really high. Faith, trust, hope, belief, joy, love, happiness, is it available? I don't know. It seems to be like so far away. And this space in between that you're floating and the fear comes up. Oh my God, what if I die? What if I crash? What if I, what if? And those get tangled in all the subconscious beliefs, the proof, the evidence of all the pain from your past that you've yet to truly transform and to heal. And it's that space in between where the magic happens. It's almost like that magic carpet on Aladdin comes and picks you up, takes you on a beautiful journey on a magic carpet ride. But there was a moment in that free falling, what if? And your mind goes down that negative road, and it's the ability that you have, the capacity that you have to allow your heart, your mind, your body, and soul to all come together and be in unison with this belief and the trust and the faith and the hope. And the thing that really runs that, the house that holds that, is the subconscious mind. Because it will present to you what it believes is possible for you. Whether you say you can or you can't, you're right. I wonder if you were to take a look at your thoughts in your life and give them a number, percentage based upon what you've been through in the past with emotional abuse, neglect, narcissistic relationships. How much of those are negative? And what percentage are positive? And how much effort does it take to consciously capture a thought that's negative and make it believe its opposite, something that's positive? Feels like, well, maybe I do that. I just, and maybe that's a question that you don't even want to look at the answer to because you're afraid of what it will reveal. And you hear your inner mind saying, yeah, I told you. She was right. Look, you suck. You're never going to change. It's never going to get better. It's never going to improve. It's never going to go the way that you want it to go. You're never going to get what you want. I know you want to be treated with kindness, with respect, and you know that you need to have some more self-love and treat yourself that way if you ever expect that anyone else is going to treat you that way, because you're teaching others how to treat you. And look at the way you treat you. You see what you did last night? I know that you know what I'm talking about. I know that you're still feeling the shame and the guilt from that. And I know that you said that you would never do that thing ever again. Yet here you are. There's an element of being honest with yourself and the space within and the ability to hold that space. Hold the space of truth and hold the space of honesty, because we're so good at lying to ourselves. We're so good at convincing ourselves that things are there when they're not there. If you've ever been in a narcissistic relationship, you're an expert at this. I know that I became an expert at it as well. I became an expert at seeing what wasn't really there, at tricking myself and believing my lies and believing all the lies that surrounded me, that it wasn't that bad. That they didn't do this. And so it's really not bad until they do that. And then, oh crap, they just did that. Well, you know what? I didn't really mean that. What I meant was, until I catch them doing this, do I really want to go to all the effort? I mean, we're already like 10 years into this. We've got kids together. We've got everything is together. I mean, and then you find that you talk yourself out of it. When you talk yourself out of that, you talk yourself into more pain. And what's really going on is there's an unconscious belief that's keeping you tied, keeping you tethered to that, keeping you unable to hold what you need to hold, that's sucking the life out of your ability to hold the space. So you distract, you numb, you run, you avoid this, and you make excuses for that. And it's like, well, when this, then that, and then it comes, and then you don't. And then you just continue to kick that can down the road. It's like a snowball that just continues to roll and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you're like, oh my God, I can't even see past this, over this, around this, under this. What am I going to do with this? Like, blocking me from being able to do anything. I know. How did I get here? You mean, honestly, not know. Because there's so much psychological and internal emotional abuse and damage, and not so much what's done to you, but what you've done to you, what you've allowed yourself to connect with, to unconsciously believe, those lies that you believe about yourself, regardless of where they came from. Most likely the narcissistic relationship, if it was a partnership, an adult, had just perpetuated what was already there, just further drove it in, just deepened those limiting, horrifying, negative beliefs you had about yourself that you didn't want to feel, so you just pretended weren't there, but there was that part of you that always knew that they were, and the pain that you experienced then. And if I don't hold on to this, then I've got nothing. And so I don't want any space within myself. I just can't hold the space. I don't have the ability. I don't have the capacity. I can't, I won't, I can't, I won't. How? That's what they say. I know I need to, but I don't know how to. So I'm just going to keep doing this and just hope that this, magically goes away someday. And if it does, I'll be happy. And if it doesn't, can we talk about something else? And so there's this whole internal going on, this internal war, this internal conflict, this internal chaos and dialogue that is taking you down a road that you know is full of heaviness, chaos, darkness, destruction, and you don't know what to do about it. But it's as if someone else is in the driver's seat and you're in the back, you're in the passenger seat in the back going, where are we going? And they're like, oh, no worries. We're going to La La Land. You're going to love it when we get there. Oh, cool. La La Land sounds really fun. Yeah, that's where we're going. And you're looking around going, um, uh, excuse me. I mean, maybe it's just me, but this really doesn't feel like we're driving to La La Land. It feels like we're going to, are you sure? I mean, did we miss something? Did we like take a wrong turn somewhere back there? I'm just not really getting a good feeling about this. And the wild and crazy thing is, when you're honest with yourself, you realize that you are in the driver's seat and the passenger seat. And it's like, why am I doing this to myself? That there's no one else that's truly controlling you and driving your life down that direction and down that path. And you realize it's me back here who wants to go there, and it's me up there taking me there. How did this happen? And it's that whole experience of that inner conflict with your mind, with the subconscious thoughts, and with the way that you're trying to overpower them consciously with the things that you do and the choices you make and the actions that you take, and the inability to hold the space in between, because now everything feels like it's being pulled in opposite directions. You hope you're going over there, but you feel like you're going over here, and I don't know what to do. How do I fix this? How do I stop it? How do I change it? How do I get it back into alignment? The ability to hold the space in between. Beginning with the first step, going within and deeply, powerfully connecting to the very core and the very root of the unconscious beliefs that you have you going that way, but telling you, oh no, that's not where we're going. It's not where we're going. Meanwhile, there's an inner part of you, an inner knowing, call it whatever you want, a sixth sense and intuition that knows this isn't right. This isn't the direction that I want to go, but it feels like I'm stuck in this car and I have no control over it. I don't know what else to do. I can't get out, and it's almost like you try and grab the door handle and it's just like it's locked. And then you try and push the unlock button. Nope, that doesn't work. It's like you try and roll down the window. Nope. They're locked. Childproof. Aha. I knew you were going to try to get out that way. And I was one step ahead of you. And it's like this prison inside your mind, and you're trying to get out and you're trying to escape, but you can't find a way. And sometimes it gets so deep and so dark and so bad that you're like willing to do anything. You're trying to use your elbow to like break open the window so you can break free. And it's like, oh no, they're shatterproof and they're strong, thick plexiglass. Oh, that's like 5-inch glass. Yeah, I'm not getting through that. Maybe I can pull down the seat. Maybe I can like crawl into the trunk, and maybe I can like kick out a light and like squeeze my body through there, like wave my hand, right? Like a horrible horror movie. Like someone's trapped in the car in the trunk. Like what are those books I used to read when I was a little girl, the Goosebump books. It's like you're trapped in one of those and you can't get out. And it's like there's a part of you that's like, it's just a story. It's not really happening. It's like, no, but it feels like it is. This isn't just a story. I mean, maybe it is, but this is the story of my life. Like this is my life being played out in a Goosebumps book, and it feels horrifying. And I don't want to know what the ending is. Actually, I want to rewrite the ending. I want to rip out the last couple chapters. I'm going to stop right here, halt the car, come to a screeching halt. I want to stop. I want to rip out the chapters. I want to rewrite it. And then there's a space in between where you realize, wow, I can really get the opportunity to do this. There's this method, there's a way, there's a process to doing this. I can actually stop the story right here, and we can halt, and I can rip out those last chapters so we don't keep driving down that road. And the space in between where you're rewriting the next chapters, where you're writing the ending, where you're writing the plot twist, and you're incorporating and bringing in different things and new elements that completely change the name of the game and completely change the story. And there's this ability to hold the space in between the time that you've ripped out those last chapters of what was already written in the road that you were going down till those next chapters are written. And there's just time and there's just space in between. But until you've come to that point, there's an inner part of you that doesn't believe that that's possible. And until you have done that, there's a part of you that wonders, is this really going to happen? And there's a part of you that has to put in the work to begin to rewrite the story instead of just sit there and go, I don't know what to write. And there's a whole process and whole evolution to this, and the ability to hold that space for yourself while you're creating, while you're on that journey. And there's different points along that journey. And I don't know where you're at along the journey, but it's a beautiful and powerful and wonderful experience and transformation that happens within when you get to that place in the story where you realize, like, we're not going to La La Land. I can tell I'm not dumb. The energy's different here. And I know you are saying that. And I know that I believed you when you said that, but I know that's not where we're going, and I don't want to keep going this direction. And there's a part of the story where you do something to intercept and intercede this in the direction that it's going. And where you take that and you rip out those chapters, and then you hold that space and do the things you need to do after that to rewrite the story. There's so much into the reason why my company is called Rewrite Your Life, because that's exactly what you get to do. When I look back on the story of my life and when I was in that state, in that space, that's exactly what was done. And there were times where it wasn't fun. There were times where I thought it was impossible, where I thought those old feelings and thoughts in my body, I can't do this. Did I make a mistake? And you look back and you see, oh my God, this story was written, and it was written so beautifully. And it wasn't just smooth sailing from there. It was so worth it. And it is far, 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 far better than I ever could have possibly imagined now. But it takes you. It may not take you believing it's possible, because there's probably a part of you that doesn't believe that it is. But it takes you being willing, committed to the journey, to the experience. It takes you being able to hold the space for yourself to feel the feelings and the emotions that come up and not run and numb from them the way that you used to. And it takes powerful subconscious transformation. It takes getting to the very core and the very root of what it is for you, and literally like a weed, like pulling out the entire thing, roots and all, not just trimming the top off and going, oh, look, it's not there anymore. Doesn't seem like it is, but watch, won't be long before it comes back. And that's the difference. That's the difference in the way that you can use your subconscious mind to truly get all of it, get the core and the root out. And there will be a space there. And it's in that space, in the ability to hold that space where that thing used to be, where you plant something new. So where what once used to be a weed, now anything's possible to go there. A beautiful flower. A garden. But it doesn't just magically happen. You're on the road to La La Land. If you're still living with those subconscious beliefs that you had from the experiences that you went through in that emotionally abusive and neglectful past, there is another way. There is a much faster alternative to getting there. Like the difference between like driving a Prius tops out at 60 miles an hour versus driving a Ferrari. That's 0 to over 100 in less than a second. There are methods, there are tools, there are modalities, and there are ways to get there in the speed in which you're ready to get there for. And I share this a lot: rapid transformation. The most powerful tool that you have to use is the power of your subconscious mind to allow you to get to where you want to go and be as quickly as possible. But there is time and the ability to hold space in the in-between where you are taking action, where you are rewriting that story. But it comes so much easier when you feel that you believe you have the power to hold the pen and you deserve to write the story with the ending that you choose. You don't have to live in that story of your past anymore. All those limiting beliefs about yourself that others placed on you because they didn't want to hold and carry them themselves. No. It takes you saying no more to that. And then where's the power tool? Where's the air compressor instead of the hammer? Of course it. All right, here we go. Moving and grooving. And that's truly what transformational healing, what rapid transformational therapy provides for you and allows for you to experience, accomplish, and achieve. And it's what I went through. It's what I guide others through. And it's such an incredibly powerful journey. It's such an exponentially fast way to get to where you want to go. So you can hold the space in between. Believe that you have the ability to, the capacity to, all while doing the things that you want to do that leads you to a much, much, much better road, a much healthier version and experience with yourself and with others, the ability to hold the space to trust, the ability to hold the space to believe, the ability to hold the space to have faith in what's yet to come, but is so close and is on its way and it's just around the corner. I've experienced clients that I've worked with that have the most phenomenal transformational stories, the ways that their lives have completely turned around in what seems like, looking back now at the story, no time at all, has been, I don't know words for it. It just absolutely phenomenal. And that's what I want for you too, especially if you've come through a similar past like mine, childhood emotional neglect, narcissistic relationships. That's my passion, my purpose, and my message, that you can have a completely different life. And it all begins with the beliefs you have about yourself, and not just the conscious ones. Like, I believe I'm pretty. I believe that I'm nice. No, those deeply embedded and deeply rooted subconscious beliefs that you have about yourself. The limiting, the negative ones, the ones that keep you stuck in fear and lack, and removing those like that weed and planting something gorgeous in its place, because you deserve that. And there's a part of you that desires that, and that's part of you that probably gets shut up the fastest. Shut up, that's not going to happen. Shut up, that's not possible. Are you still talking about that? Are you still wasting your time dreaming, hoping, desiring that things are going to get better? Look, you see this? Stop, it's a waste. And then you begin to take on the identity that you're a waste. It's time to completely transform, shift, remove, and change all of that. It's time to rewrite that story. When you're ready to, I'd love to connect. You can find out more information in the links in the description below this video. And until then, sending you so much love and the capacity and the ability to hold the space and those things in between in a very, very fast way to expedite that process. All right, guys. Till next time. See you soon.